Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Amaazen Outdoors. This podcast is being presented by Upland Outfitters, home of the Relentless pants, man. Those things are awesome. I had them out this week, and I pretty much, since I started the partnership with Jason, have been wearing those pants out anytime over the summer here where I had to do any work at the farm or dog training. I've even had them on the boat a little bit. They are tough as nails. I have yet to see a pull 'em thread. I've been in some nasty briars. They really held up a lot better than I thought. I can't recommend them enough. Hunting season is around the corner. Make sure you use discount code Amaazen, and I believe Jason is still offering 20% off on the Relentless pants. So pick up a pair before hunting season is upon us, and you're out in the woods with a ripped up pair of pants and sweating, unnecessarily, because Jason's pants and the Relentless pants are top notch and breathable, light. So you're going to want them this early season. Make sure you get them now. I also have a quick announcement. We've got another kind of temporary partnership with Chippewa River Custom Rods. Tom is going to be offering 10% off with discount code Amaazen 10, Amaazen 10, and it's all caps. If you decide to call him for a custom rod, just make sure you tell him that you heard about custom rods on Amaazen Outdoors podcast, and he will make sure that you get hooked up with a discount. All that information for both sponsors and partners are going to be in the show notes, so please support the podcast and these great companies. They are really good partners for the podcast, and I would like to see our listeners support them as well. So look them up, Uplnd Outfitters and Chippewa River Custom Rods. Enjoy today's show. Welcome to Amaazen Outdoors. On this podcast, you'll hear about our adventures chasing all kinds of different game here in the heartland of America. We live and breathe outdoors. We hunt, we fish, and we absolutely love being outside. It is not just a passion, it is a way of life. Welcome. This is the first episode. I am Brian, your host of Amaazen Outdoors. I'm bringing you episode 1, where we sit down and talk with Eric, titled A Ray of Sunshine on the Last Day of Minnesota Pheasant Season. Here's the conversation. Enjoy. Stay tuned at the end for some updates and sponsorship. I kind of had you over because I've kind of taken a different course in life.
Sure.
I'm no longer wearing, business shoes and pleated pants, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to wear more boots and blue jeans.
Yeah.
And get outdoors more with the dogs. So, we started this little podcast and a couple little other irons in the fire, and really trying to get guys like you, Eric and I go way back, but you don't do nearly as much hunting as I do.
No, definitely don't.
I'm a nut.
Yeah,
and that's okay. I like
you're
that.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely crazy.
But regardless, we've hunted a number of times together over the years with Hunt My Brother and just kind of the family connection from the get-go. And then obviously we moved out to the cities and you ended up out here and we started doing excursions. So,
yeah, we did.
The podcast, the media thing, this is all kind of still quite a little bit organic, but we're going in a direction where we really want to just inspire other people to start trying other outdoor activities.
You inspired me on the pheasant, that's for sure.
Yeah, you hadn't.
We'll
really,
talk about it.
Yeah, really done that before.
No, I've never I pheasant hunted one other time, but it wasn't very successful. So it was a pleasant surprise when
and we get into it too a little bit. We tried some
grouse hunting adventures. I thought it was going to be one of those.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to lie.
Those late season grouse adventures are really, really tough.
Yeah, just driving around looking at trees for 8 hours. Essentially what we ended up doing, but this one was definitely more action packed. That's for sure.
Well, and we drove a long way, and the weather was okay. For winter, it wasn't great. I like 40-degree weather and no snow, but we had snow and Anyways, so let's get into a little bit of who you are and enough with me. We're going to try to create a bunch of outdoor media and hopefully people will follow along and figure out what I'm doing. I struggle sometimes to figure it out too, but let's talk a little bit about you. How do you know me and
so I'm we grew up together essentially. I was good friends with Brian's younger brother growing up, but I didn't have the hunting acumen and the family tree essentially growing up. So I didn't, it was definitely helpful to have, Mark and Brian be able to hunt their land growing up, because that's a big part of being able to learn to hunt. And
excuse the dogs outside in the background. This is a dog home, so the dogs are on the studio here. So
I take along on a lot of hunts with those guys, and for the most part, that's most of my hunting experience outside of some college, deer hunting. But
and you had some family out in western Minnesota. You did a little bit with
but they're not hardcore hunters. So
well, and we had some similarities too growing up. You came from a divorced family. My folks got divorced, and that was kind of like the catalyst at our house, at least for when we went from a normal family to kind of a nut family.
Sure.
It was kind of deer camp 365 days a year there for a few years.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every minute of it, but it just, I didn't play video games,
that was different.
We were out at the farm, and
it is scary to think about. Back in the day, it was, tree forts and outside all day, every day, just living to be outside. And this generation seems a little more video game centric.
Augmented kind of reality. And I think that when they, leave mom or dad's basement at the age that you and I left home, reality kind of smacks them in the face a little differently than it
sure.
Right? It just, they don't seem nearly as prepared. And I don't know, I thought there were a lot of life skills we learned in the woods, and just hunting too. Lessons, there's a lot of different lessons that are learned in that about persistence and patience and
appreciation for nature
and research and just the appreciation of nature and the conservation side of things. That didn't come along for me until later.
Sure.
But it's the foundation that I had growing up in those memories that has really kind of drove me to be more of a conservationist.
Sure.
In a sense, I don't get me wrong. I want access, but there is a part of it that we do need to set aside land for people who don't have land. And
that's where I came from essentially, right? You guys had all the land, and
we didn't have all that land, but we had land close in proximity.
Absolutely, close to me.
A couple decent little chunks, and Grandpa worked pretty hard for those. So all us grandkids and grandkids' friends kind of got to reap some of the benefits, especially out, by your place. That was kind of I don't know, everybody hung out at, BB and too, my dad had, it was, I don't know, that's a big rabbit hole that we can go down. But yeah, I mean, after kind of some of the crazy deer drive stuff, and I got shot at one year. I mean, a bullet kind of hit the tree above me, and then there was one of my dad's acquaintances that one year we went to a deer drive too, and turns out he was sitting on the backside of the property, and nobody knew, and a deer drive going right through it with guys thinking they can shoot over that way, so it just got kind of dangerous with the number of acquaintances he had hunting on the place. And with that, I kind of got forced out a little bit and started hunting 45, and Mark kind of did as well. And then I met you through Mark, my younger brother, and because you guys were in the same grade at high school.
Yep.
And that was a crazy little piece of property.
It was literally my backyard.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time out there, mostly hunting. But
we did some
stupid stuff out there, and we shoot clays, and it was just like an escape inside of the city almost. It was so like the property wasn't that big, but it was right there in like suburbia.
We're not gonna hotspot anything here, but we grew up in northeastern Wisconsin, and the town we grew up in was today is it's pretty good size compared to what it was when you and I were there. A lot has changed. I mean, there's subdivision going in on that piece of property now.
Is there?
Yeah. It finally sold a few years ago, and then, I think, now it's probably 8 years ago, maybe that all sold.
Really?
If not longer. I'm trying to, no. Grant, that all got closed out
Grand
after
Chute
Grandma's
and Greenville
estate.
is just, they're expanding like fucking wildfire out there.
Yeah, and you couldn't shoot. I mean, BB the last few years we couldn't gun hunt there. We could bow hunt, but it was annexed into the city, and big bucks. I mean, but they were smart bucks. Those city bucks.
I never got to
very
actually
nocturnal.
Really hunt BB.
You could only hunt. You could only get them, post to be stupid during post rut, or during that really peak rut in that pre-lockdown phase.
Yeah.
And, I saw some pretty big deer out there, within an hour of close. That's kind of where I don't think you hunted that much.
I never hunted that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I heard stories.
Oh,
that was right where your dad's
acres
work was right there, right?
Yeah, now it's an industrial park.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot a monster out of the back of
That's what I was going to say. I heard that story.
When it went out, yeah. We'll leave that one for another day. But, that was a neat piece of property. But, anyways, we hunted for BB. And then I think, so we, Grandma closed on, selling that after Grandpa died on BB. That's right. That property was gone early on in the kind of the product. And then we moved up to Waupaca County, and a whole nother fiasco with that land purchase and the old man. But gotta love them. Gotta love Grandma, and bless their souls for the opportunities we've had. The old man still around and doesn't hunt much anymore, but that property kind of cursed him a little bit, I think, at the end with his accident.
Yeah.
But
we had a lot of good times there, though.
Oh, it's just a beautiful piece of property, that lake and that ridge. And
a little private pond. You could go catch
big
30 bass, and then
it died.
the next morning.
Otters got in there the last couple of years. There wasn't anything left, but
right at the beginning, though, man, it was nonstop, and then you can go shoot a deer the next day. I mean, that was a great piece of land.
Turkeys out there. We had grouse out there. I mean, everything that you wanted to hunt was there, and it was it was a big enough chunk with some nice neighbors that we all got along for a little while, and
sure,
chapter of life,
Yep.
And then family got kind of the best of me over the years, and I moved out to the Twin Cities, and it was just kind of by chance, that you had moved out here, and I'd gotten fed up with dealing with the 20 acres out of the larger parcel that I got relegated to. And then the property was finally gone, and I had left kind of hunting with the family and said I'm going on my own, and at least 80 acres up in Polk County, Wisconsin. So And then I think, was that the first year you came out and hunted with me.
Was it the first year you had the land?
I think so, because I shot that 8-pointer.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because you were supposed to meet me at your mom's place in the east side of the metro.
Yeah.
And you didn't. You overslept. Out
That must have
with
been
the boys
first.
the night before. Typical story,
Yeah.
I was married long before Tornis got married, so he was enjoying single life while I was enjoying hunting. And I probably had gotten to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock that night, getting ready at 2 because the rut was on. And
yeah. A lot of
I'll be there. We'll meet at 3:30 or something like that. Yeah, pull in. Oh shit, I'm still in bed, man.
I'm not a morning person. What can you say?
No, it turned out kind of good. I mean, at the end of the day, you saw the buck at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I took you in there. It was the first time you had ever been to the property.
I helped you drag it out, didn't I?
Oh yeah. But I mean, you'd never been to the property before, so I had to walk you into the stand. That morning.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm fully dressed. I think and then on top of it, in Western Wisconsin, you missed the exit I was sitting at. So I'm like, screw it, just here's the drop pin, meet me there.
Yeah. No idea where I was going.
You pulled up. I'm ready to go. Sun's coming up already. I'm like, get your gear together. Let's go. We're gonna be late, And I got you on stand, and I shuffled into the woods, and that stand got its name the 15-minute stand, really, because of that morning. I mean, I was there 15 minutes, and that damn thing came running right behind me at about 10 yards, and I don't even remember where I hit that deer. He ended up on the neighbor's property. He only went about 100 yards, though.
Yeah.
But I think, that's right. I was using that older bow I had, and it was...
Sure.
It was not. I think it only went up to 65 pounds, and I think I was shooting like 55 with it. I don't know, just kind of stupid, I guess. But So.
Yep, that was my first experience at your land out there. And, had a few more since then. I mean, we had some. Well, we hunts, and
I think you hunted a couple times the following season.
Yeah,
you were working turnarounds crap.
Yeah,
you could barely get out and do anything. Couldn't commit to anything. That was like your busy season.
Fall season was my busy season, so didn't get out as much as I wanted to. But every time I went up there, it was a good time. And
we better rifle down this stuff because we're already kind of 15 minutes in. We're trying to keep these a little bit shorter than most people's. But we ended up after hunting a couple times in Polk County. We ended up getting about 130 acre lease we did in
River Falls.
In River Falls.
That was an experience.
It was. We learned a lot about deer and cows that year.
Yeah, they don't mix.
Well, they don't. It's not ideal. I'll put it to you that way. I think one guy could have hunted that property if we had enough stand and coverage, because the cows were always on one end. But it made it really difficult for two guys to hunt it. Yeah. And just the way with the topography there was so tough. The fence lines went like right down the middle of some of these ridges that were good. And deer were hugging the other side of the ridge. And there was nowhere to hang a set or shoot. You couldn't shoot on the neighbors. Well, maybe.
We got, remember we were, was it the first or second time we checked our cameras? Remember, we had those two fucking beauties.
They're big deer.
Big deer, right? So that just got us going, right? So we put up a bunch of stands and put some time into that. And
we didn't put enough either.
No, but I mean, and then the next time you go out and check out your trail cam, there's a cow laying in the salt lick, and there's 145 pictures. You get excited, and all you see is a freaking cow's face.
We saw coyotes. Landowner lived on the property, and.
Yeah, it was. You had to dodge the cows on your way up, but it was. I mean, the location was great from the cities, so that made it nice for us.
Well, shit. I mean, from your house, probably 30, 35 minutes, you could be there. But you had to watch where you parked too there, because if you parked inside the gate, you'd come out and
cows will eat your tires.
Oh man, I mean, they eat your tires. And I remember I came out one time. I was only in there to check trail cameras, and the cows were. I didn't see they're must have been a couple in that south pasture I didn't see, and I came out and there's marks all up and down my truck from this cow. It was all full of mud.
Yeah.
And the mirror knocked in, and it was just like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I went eye to eye with one that jumped out from behind me from a tree, and God, it wasn't happy. That's for sure.
I stumbled across one on the way in there in the morning one time, and up on that grove stand that we had, they must have all been kind of laying up in there, and one was real close that kind of I thought I heard them, but I thought they were on the other side of the ridge, and I'm like, just keep going. And one was laying right at the top of the road there, and there must have been at least 20 of them laying underneath the stand. Yeah, and I'm like,
it made it tough.
Just total bust, you know. I think I had a lot of buck, but I did hit that big 10, but
yeah, you hit it.
Yeah, well, we didn't shoot out. We didn't clean out shooting lanes into the neighbor's property, and them old fence posts, they're not always quite on the property line, and that deer was real close, and he was headed over here.
Was that one of the deer that we had on camera?
No, it was a different buck. It was that peak rut, I think it was like November 2nd. Yeah. One weekday morning, I snuck out on my way out to Eau Claire for sales.
Well, that's a good thing about your that job you were working at the time, because I was
on the road.
Yeah, so you could kind of make your own schedule. Well, and I had more flexible with that.
Customers near the property, and certain days I'd go up there, and hell, I even had customers I'd taken out many times. So yeah, it put me in a place where I could do things. I wasn't tied to a location like some people have to, and I was pretty lucky. And again, part of the reason what's inspired me to kind of get behind the mic here, share some of this stuff, because I've done a lot, and I just kind of want to inspire people to do other things, not just be stuck in a tree stand,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it gets a little tiring if you sit in a stand all that, for however long, season after season, and you don't shoot any deer. So I mean, that's why you got to have friends like Brian, you could only stare at the woods for so long before. I mean, it's a little boring sometimes. It can be.
I use it as kind of my quiet time to regroup my thoughts.
That's what I mean. Is the more you do it, the more you get the appreciation for nature, and you just seeing wildlife run around, and they don't even know you're there, and it's just a very relaxing environment.
I got my first short hair. I went through that first season that she could hunt.
Yeah.
And it was the big pivoting kind of moment for me, from a deer hunter to really wanting to do all kinds of different things, but really focus more on like prairie and or grouse and just different, upland, just to spend time hunting with my dogs.
Yeah.
That first dog, I remember, I sat in that tree stand. I couldn't sit like I used to be able to. I'd find every excuse to go to the tree stand. Yeah. And every time I got in that tree stand, all I think about is a dog. Yeah. And I'm like, how I should be spending this time with the dog, hunting, And so it kind of pivoted me a little bit, and I learned a lot of new things over the last 5-10 years. I've had the dog now 6, and had started messing around with a few different things before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of, since the post River Falls days, we kind of have only been able to catch up really for a few things. We get out fishing once in a while. Got you on the drift boat once or twice, and
I know I
get on the ice every now and again, but I don't really care too much to do that anymore. And
we ice fished a shit ton for
first
right away when we got here. And I mean, I still enjoy it, ice fishing a lot, but it gets kind of like you said, anything, if you don't produce after a while, it just gets harder and harder to kind of go out and
I don't know. It's kind of the whole ice castle migration away from the tents that we used to all have, and everybody's got these big shacks, and there's just they carve out space, and it's party on the ice. It's not fishing, and I don't know. I'm a run and gun style guy, and it gets difficult midwinter to do it, and then you got trucks on the ice, and it's really exciting. The only time I really get my interest is first and last ice. Yeah. And up here in Minnesota, we don't get the old Lake Winnebago last ice. I mean,
nothing like that.
When we were kids,
that's
a whole nother conversation. Like Winnebago,
there's
Winniseptic.
Yep, that's right. Still ate them though.
Fucking walleye factory though.
Yeah, it was. They
So
don't have the walleye.
I don't know. Last couple of years we did a trip up to Grand Rapids and did grouse trip.
Grouse looking,
around Christmas time.
It was
End
late.
of the season.
It was late. Yeah.
I mean, there had already been probably 6 inches of snow on the ground. I think it melted a little bit, and then I think it snowed almost the whole time we were up there, lightly.
Yep.
And it was just basically, let's run around and look for
it wasn't very successful
in the snow.
Yeah.
And then, try to get the dog on something. I mean, it was just, we did find them though, I think that second day, and it was pretty good. I mean, they were pretty well
we took a few shots,
and,
I think, but
they were in the pines.
You can't see them, and
it's just
all you could do is hear them.
Yeah, it's a tough time, and where they were, it wasn't like a pine plantation. It was like a massive old spruce, probably 10, 15-year-old spruce plantation that was all right on top of each other, and there's just you're ducking and diving the whole time, and not fun.
No,
not ideal.
I mean, no, it was an excuse to get out of town for a couple days, but
yeah. So I mean, that was kind of your first experience with bird hunting.
Yep.
With me, and it wasn't very good. I don't think you got a chance to shoot. Maybe you did.
I don't remember, but yeah.
And then we went up. What was it? 2 seasons ago. Then we went up to northwest Wisconsin. I think we kind of farted around in like Douglas County and northern Burnett County, and it was really dry. Mm-hmm. No snow, but really dry.
Sure.
And an area that I had not hunted, and I wanted to, and I was just looking for somebody to kind of tag along. Let's go check this out for the day. And I think we finally did get into a couple grouse at the end of that day. I think we got one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got one. I think I got one and took a couple shots.
Yeah, I didn't get one. I don't think.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a new area. It's always.
I want to go back there one of these days, but it was really dry, and in that time of year, the leaves have come down. They're not soft. It's crunch, 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 and the cover's starting to get sparse.
Yep.
Those grouse, they hear you. They're running long before you even get there.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I mean, the dogs were birdie a number of times, but those grouse had either I'd flown on or run off. I think, and it was an area we didn't want to, I guess, venture too far off the trail that we were on. And I didn't have Onyx back then, and no GPS with me, so it was kind of still the wandering in the big woods feel that most people get a little eerie if you walk too far off the trail and you don't know where you're at. So.
Yeah. So I mean, anyways, 2 unsuccessful hunts so far with Brian until this last one.
Yeah.
For bird, bird something. I grouse hunted with my dad growing up, and he loved. That's the one thing. That's the ones. And pheasant, I say those are his two.
Did you and your old man hunt over a dog?
Yep. Yeah, we had a dog. We hunted up by where we had a cabin up in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah,
so
Flushing dog though, right?
A Flushing dog. Yeah, it was a lab. So it was, a lot of fun grouse hunting growing up, and I mean, bird hunting is something that I just haven't had the time or the experience to get back into. But
it's tough, I mean, it took me a few years to kind of figure out what to look for and kind of how to figure out where to find birds, and you know, that grouse thing is very conditional and seasonal, just just like anything, bird hatches and things like that. So I kind of bugged you because I took the wife out with the dogs on opening day of pheasant season in Minnesota, and I just drove west, and got out to the South Dakota border, and we went north for a little while, we went south for a little while, and kind of had the Onyx app out and was marking a bunch of spots, and I knew we saw a ton of birds, just for western Minnesota. I was like kind of pumped,
Mm-hmm.
The cover was really good, and conditions at that point I think were moderate from a dry standpoint. So we with the wife, she's got short legs, we'll just put it that way, and pheasants run fast, so I got, I think, one on opening day, and she got a shot at one, and we ran some around and just kind of marked some spots, had a lot of fun, and I was begging you to kind of come along to get back out there for most of the season. And I think just before Christmas, or right after Christmas, right before the season. Wait, no, it was
When was it?
It was like the second to last day of the season.
Yeah, it was
on,
like January 2nd.
30th or something.
Or was it?
No, it was December 30th.
Yeah, right before New Year's.
Yeah, I think it closed on like, who knows?
The first.
Anyway, it's like the second to last day of the season.
Yep.
And it was a Saturday.
Expecting the same results as the last 2 hunts.
Yeah, just bad day from you're only available, and I'm more available to go any day.
Sure, yeah,
and wanted to go on Friday, and but you couldn't go, so we ended up going, and I don't know. We took the drive out, and the cool thing, we got about 2/3 of the way out. Stopped in a small town, and not really what I would consider the heart of Minnesota pheasant country. Flat, the part in between the cities and the western edge where it becomes more hilly and cattail sloughs. I mean, this was just flat land, and we pull into town, and there was a bridge out. That's right. We were coming in the Minnesota River Valley area, and there was a bridge out. We had to go north for a little bit to get across the river, and there was like 30 pheasants.
Yeah, I mean, there was a shit ton just sitting out there.
It was like 8:30. Couldn't chase them at all, and private land from as far as the eye could see, and no cover either. Where did they come from?
Yeah,
it was fresh snow.
I saw a pheasant that day, so we're off to a good start at least.
Yeah, we had a rooster right on the road.
I got to see a rooster before 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So things were looking up at that time.
I think we had to stop get you a license, actually.
That shows you how much I hunt.
and then we had another 30, 45 minutes west, and we started north of where I wanted to go, and I don't know, we drove around probably for a good hour and a half before we really put the dogs on the ground much. I think we stopped and did a quick 15-minute. There was an old homestead looking thing. Snow was just deep there, and I don't know. It was
we
weird.
flushed a few, didn't we? They ran through that patch of woods or something.
Yeah,
we chased them out, but we didn't see them.
I mean, they were just dogs were birdy, but heavy snow. It was, and then as we kind of went a little further south to the area I wanted to hunt, the snow kind of, I don't know, maybe it melted more. I don't know if they had a couple more sunny days, or they didn't get that much when it first came down. A little bit heavier band went north. But there was still pretty good snow, drifted in the slough. But we ended up finding this really nice slough that I had marked earlier in the year it had feed on one end, and so we took the wind and kind of just off to the races we went.
Yeah, I mean, we spent all day on that slough, basically. We did a
good 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, and it was non-stop action. I mean, right off the bat, we both maybe nicked the one and we lost it, and
we chased that. I can't imagine.
It was right at our feet, and
I can't imagine how many other birds we got up when we weren't looking, because we were literally like tracing a blood trail like a deer.
Those little fuckers are fast. They run really quick underneath them. I mean, we couldn't see it. I remember it was right at our feet, and the dogs were there, and it was it was fluttering. We could have probably just stuck our hand down there and grabbed it, and then 2 seconds later, it's gone. And we couldn't find it.
Yeah, and then I ended up...
And then he shot one when he was helping me look for mine. And he nails one. So that's basically
and it wasn't the bird because that bird...
It's a different bird.
Yeah, I hit that bird clear in the head, and I mean, the legs were... We knew we had both kind of nipped the one, and I think one leg.
I mean, it was definitely hit, and it was coming down, and we tracked it down, but then we lost it again. And
I hate that. It just bothers me when that happened. I went to Kansas this year. It was super dry, and that whole trip I lost more birds in one trip than I've ever lost my whole lifetime.
Yeah.
And I've got I thought pretty good dogs, and at some one point I had to step back and go, it's not the dogs, it's the conditions.
Sure.
It was just so dry, but and I don't know, maybe I wasn't shooting all that well either.
Yeah, I mean, that could be part of it. We don't like to admit that. But
that's kind of why I want to, take people hunting, because I need people who are better shots than me. I got great dogs, and I just do them disservice sometimes when it's just me.
Yeah, but you don't have to have anybody there with you to see it when you miss. So, I mean...
Well, that's why, whenever you see pictures... Yeah. I send you pictures of stuff with birds.
Yep.
You always hear about all these birds we saw, and you only see like one or two.
Yeah.
Where are all the other ones? Oh, that's because I can't hit anything.
Yeah.
No, I go through big waves. You know, I'm some days I'm just dead nuts on, and other days I might as well just leave the truck in the or gun in the truck and grab the freaking camera because it'd be a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was pheasants are a little bit. I mean, they were right there. They were perfect shots for us that day. I mean, every one of them basically.
I've never had a day in late season in the snow cover in a slough that had been hunted. Not that morning, but within the last couple days it had been hunted. I've never had them hold so well. I mean, and then we moved a bunch of them.
We saw them fly across the slough right away.
And we're like, they didn't get up.
They didn't get up, and we flushed them and killed them on the other side.
Remember that last rooster that we had that Luna was on point, and you're like, kind of chasing Rebel, and I had Luna on point, and she just wouldn't leave it, and she's stoic, and I walked into her and right up on her nose.
Basically stepped on her, right?
Stepped on her, yeah. And then I walked away 5 feet and circled around. 3 different times I went neck, and that dog wouldn't leave. And I'm like, there's got to be a bird here. Finally, I was going to go for the 4th time at her and kind of kick the... Yeah, freaking rooster got up right at my feet. I mean, flew right up my leg and out.
Yep. Missed it
twice. Yep.
It was too good of a shot.
But I've never seen them hold like that before. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it at a game farm, you know, but not wild birds.
Yeah, no, I mean, that hen that I shot, unfortunately, basically stepped on that thing. I mean, what are you...
Quick edit out. Yeah, you know, well, you shot at one and you missed it, luckily, and you know, luckily you missed it.
I shot
it was
that
a hen.
I tried. I didn't. Like I said, I don't have the eye.
Well, you know, and you're not as experienced, but I mean, even when I saw you rise the gun, I didn't even tell you not to because it had really long tail feathers.
Yeah.
And then it finally banked, and I'm like, "Whoa, hen!" And you already had shot, I think, twice.
Yeah.
It was a pretty quick boom.
Good thing I missed.
Yeah. Well.
Are we editing this out or what?
No, yeah.
All right. Next topic.
Yeah, I'll edit a little bit of that out.
All right.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
Eric's just a little embarrassed that he knocked a.
What are you gonna do?
Knocked a hen.
I don't care. Nobody's
tried.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it on purpose.
No. I felt bad, kind of.
Well, you know, the coyotes got to eat too once in a while.
I blasted it, though.
So I don't know. You know, we went out and we basically spent 4 hours circling this slough. I bet you we moved. The first time through, I bet you we saw 20 to 25 birds, and hens and roosters that between the contacts and the ones that had, you know, wild flushes, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then about half of those birds, I would say, flew into the slough on the other side, which we decided to jump the snowbank, which was up to a guy's groin.
Yeah.
Dogs got stuck in it a couple times.
I got stuck in it a few times. I mean, yeah, it was...
And there was that whole backside of the slough we didn't even realize till we'd get in the truck coming around, but that was where we probably should have focused our effort on because there was corn right there. You know, a nice probably 30 acres of corn.
Yeah.
But so they circle around, and we worked them towards the end. We had a couple more birds that we should have had. I think we ended up with 2, maybe 2. I think we both got 1, and we both should have had at least one more.
At least one more.
Yes. I mean,
we probably should have came out of there with 5 or 6.
Yeah, I know. I got to do better when I'm shooting bad. I just got to leave that 28 gauge at home and grab that 12 gauge.
I think it just caught me off guard, honestly. That's my excuse I'm going for. I wasn't expecting all that
I'm
action.
using the gauge. No, I that 28 gauge is great, and when you got them holding like that, there's no excuse. I should have smoked them. I mean, that's nothing but shooter error.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a good time.
It was.
So I don't know. What'd you learn? I mean, you're
I think
non-pheasant hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were looking for corn that was still standing, and any sort of field that butted up to that you could hunt. And I know that this was one of the first ones that we actually found that had
had all the right fixins.
And it's about getting into the heart of the beast and walking through the thick slough that's crappy and hard to get through, but that's where the birds are.
Well, and you know, there's early in the season you can't get in there. It's wet.
Yeah.
And those birds are on that wet edge, and
Sure.
and it's even tough on the dogs earlier in the season. And so the three things they need, food, water, cover, but it had to be later in the season. I think it gets even more important to hunt those close proximity points where you can go into a 40, 50, 60 acre area and spend 4 hours covering one area and not leave. We could have ran in and covered that one corner, seen a few birds, and had we not, I think you even said, "Hey, let's push on a little bit more." You were the one.
Well, we flushed a few out. We saw them land on the other side, and we're like, "Oh shit!"
But even initially, when we had gotten out, and I was even hesitant to get out because this is a spot that when I had been out there the 2 other times earlier in this season, every time there was a truck parked there.
Yep.
So I was a little hesitant to get out, but I knew there were birds there, and you had kind of been like, well, let's keep going. This looks pretty good. And not being experienced, I'm looking at it from kind of, I've been beat up enough times already during the season and
Sure.
really wanting to hunt just that edge, where I knew for sure there was going to be a few birds.
Yeah.
And you pushed me a little bit. That's something I learned that day was, be thorough.
Yeah. No, I mean that, and I mean the amount of work it takes up front that you did with all the on your app and all the public land that you passed, and for a novice like me wouldn't know where we can hunt or what the boundaries and borders are. That's, you don't realize how much land there is out there to hunt. And I mean, I think that was a big thing that I learned, was how much upfront work it takes, legwork on your end, to figure out where we can actually go.
My wife, half the time thinks I'm doing something nefarious in the garage, and or were you on some dating app talking to chicks? I'm like, no, honey, I'm on Onyx trying to find hunting spots.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes hours. It really does. I mean, from Kansas to Colorado to North Dakota to Minnesota and Wisconsin. I mean, if you want to hunt in the states like I do, I'd like to cover ground, run and gun, and it takes that, because things are so localized sometimes with the conditions and food and water.
No, I mean, I definitely got the itch. That outing right there was enough to do it. I mean, that's the beauty of hunting, is all it takes sometimes is one successful trip, one successful deer hunt, to get hooked. And I'm not saying I'm not going to be at your level, I never will, but definitely want to make a conscious effort to go out more next year, because that was fun, and I like moving around. And
it was a great winter day. Like I'm gonna title it. It was kind of a little bit of a ray of sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the only warm day we had in a couple days. It was a colder December with some snow early, so the season was a tough season towards the end, I think, and for some guys. Mm-hmm. And had we shot better, we would have had a lot more birds, and could have almost stamped a limit on closing out the season, I think. But
yeah,
it is what it is, So anyways, what do you got going on right now? You got any hunting on the horizon this fall, or am I going to have to start putting the bug in your ear?
Well, it's been a busy year and a half with
getting
the marriage and
switching
we have
jobs a couple times,
switching
and the
jobs,
wife changing jobs,
moving.
and COVID,
we're trying to get out of our house now, move to the new place out of the city a little bit. So that's going to be happening
much like
spring.
Everybody else.
Yeah, much like everybody else.
Yeah, that's why I invested in the country.
Yep.
And I'm trying to shift myself to get out of the city.
Yeah.
Your house is a little further ahead than mine, but I don't know. And then my wife's so tied right now that I gotta at least kind of put a pause on moving the whole operation up there. Yeah, so we got foundation started. It'll be at least hopefully we'll be able to start have a studio up there and just do podcasts up there. That
would be
really
ideal.
kind of supposed to be the Amaazen farms and the Northern Command Post. So.
We'll see how long it takes to get you.
You're gonna come hunt this fall up there?
Yeah, no, I mean this fall.
You're gonna get your bow ready.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you want to do birds or what?
I want to do birds. I think more.
Should come
this
out
next year.
We should hit it a little bit right as
when it's not 2 feet of snow on the ground.
Oh yeah,
be
but
nice.
not when all the cover's completely down. A lot of guys, they liked it that the rut and like I think usually the peak grouse hunting, it kind of aligns, but it as the cover comes down, you get all the crunchies on the ground. I mean, all the leaves are on, and if it's a dry year, I don't know, it's tougher to hunt grouse. It just is at that point,
Yeah.
So I have to do it conditional wise, and,
Sure.
and see who I'm hunting with. I've hopefully supposed to have a pretty busy fall here, and hopefully if you're paying people, so
yeah,
enough pro bono,
hopefully you
I
can
guess, over the
find
years.
a day to take me out.
You'll always get a pro bono day, or you'll have to deal with somebody along the way with us. But anyways, yeah, no. You're gonna do anything? You're looking at going out and hunting by mark. Colorado's draws coming up here. I think April. We got to put in. I'm actually thinking about doing the rifle.
Oh yeah.
I've done the bow 2 years ago. Did muzzleloader last year, and both times I think I spent like 10 days in the mountains.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough hunting. I don't mind the tough hunting. I actually kind of like the adventure of it, but to go through all the effort of like riding a bike 4 miles into the wilderness and then parking it and then hiking another 5 miles in to do a loop,
it's a lot
and
of
then
work.
getting to kind of your farthest point back there in the middle of the freaking wilderness, only to see another guy. And you're going, we got overrun the last 2 years in that area, and I don't know how it's going to be, and Mark's just bugging me again, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
Yep.
But I want to go with a rifle, just because then I feel my advantage after trying it with a bow, after trying it with a muzzle loader, and knowing all the obstacles we face in that particular zone with other hunters. The only time during the hunting season where there's the least amount of people in there is during the rifle season, because it's limited draw.
Yeah.
And so it's over the counter archery, and I won't do anything anymore in that zone while the archery season's over.
I mean, I feel like if you're going to go out there and spend all that much money, you might as well increase your odds a little bit and use a rifle, right? Well, I mean, it's not as cool, it's not as good a story necessarily, but
yeah. Well, think about that. That's coming up. You probably didn't hear, but I just got word, or at least I got my last night. Somebody told me to do it quick, so I did it. But
yeah,
last night I don't know. It's just that this February in Wisconsin, they're having a wolf hunt.
Really?
Yeah, they're giving away 200 tags on a February.
Is the wolf hurt that bad?
So I don't know for sure, but I will tell you that anytime I get up towards the Chequamegon in that Clam Lake area, I don't hunt up there too often, but I kind of skirt some of those edges. And I ran across some bear hunters. No, I ran across a deer hunter this fall in the woods, and I guess he about 14 or 15 dogs in that area had gotten killed from wolves that last season.
Really?
Just in just that area. So I know I've seen them up there.
I've seen them hunting on your property in Ogdenburg area.
Yeah, there was a couple solos.
Solos, not in a pack, but
yeah, there are a couple outskirt.
The packs are the ones you got to worry about, right?
There's some big packs up there in that Clam Lake area where all the elk are as well, and that's kind of they're putting all that money into the elk herd, and it's like, well, you got to have some kind of check and balance here, and I don't know that that wolf that's here in the state of Wisconsin is actually the genetic wolf that had roamed these woods before they were all killed. And it's just, we've reintroduced him, we've messed around with Mother Nature in multiple different ways. And at some point, you can't let something go unchecked if there is a problem.
Yeah. I'm
not going to say there is, I don't know. But they feel the need that they got to harvest 200 wolves this February. Wow. So they had to draw it closed last night.
Sure.
And now they're going to draw tomorrow morning. You're going to get notified whether or not you get the permit. And I think it's going to end before the 28th of February. So that's next Sunday.
Well,
I think you're going to start
So did you put your
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, for a non-res, it was $10 with the fee and everything else. Well, what the heck?
Where would you hunt them? Would you go up to your land?
I have no.
No, there's no wolves up there, right? You're from.
I've never seen any. You'd have to go another 20 miles north.
How do you even hunt wolves?
That's my buddy Dax. He traps, and he's got his trapping license, and he was the one who said get the tag, and I typed him back. I said, "You're gonna come up and trap the thing for me?" And he goes, "Sure, I'll help you." And then he kind of went back and forth about how there's ways to do it. If I got a tag, I mean, I'd go make a run for it. I'd probably do more like a predator call kind of, and some scents. There's different kind of trapping scents that you can use there, and just sit there kind of like a bait.
I mean, they're mostly nocturnal, aren't they?
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
you can
you'll be hunting at night. That seems a little sketchy to me.
I know.
Trying to bring the wolves to you. Jeez.
I mean, I figure what the hell? What's the worst thing I can
just like set up a ground blind somewhere, or bring your stand, or how do you even? I mean,
I'll get the tag and wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. I'm still working through
one
the
thing at
process
a time.
in my head. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I'm kind of, they're only giving away 200 tags. My brother from Colorado applied. I know a few other people who applied that were non-res. So I have a feeling they're going to have a huge demand for hunters for that particular draw. And
sure.
The likelihood is going to be pretty low. So if I get a tag, I'll worry about it. It's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a little weird. Wolf.
Well, and yeah, we'll just leave that one.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you heard or not. I'll let you know if I get the tag.
No, yeah,
could be I might need somebody to tag along with, or to tag. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll hang out in the car.
All right.
Once you shoot it, I'll come out and help you carry the big dog in.
So I don't know if you heard too, in Montana, they there's a Senate bill. I think it's a state bill. I still have to do a little bit of research. I shouldn't really be jaw-jacking too much about it, but from what I heard, it is basically that Montana's kind of like an opportunity state. There's only a few of them for Western big game. Mm-hmm. So you got Colorado, you can get over-the-counter archery tag. Well, Montana allows a very large amount of non-resident tags and over-the-counter, easier access kind of tags that you don't need to draw points for. And supposedly this Senate bill, because of COVID, I guess some of the guides and outfitters out there have been bitching and moaning because they've had a lot of cancellations. Mm-hmm. So part of that is kind of motivating this Senate bill to allot like half of these tags that normally go to more open public. So you don't need to have a guide.
Yeah.
These tags are now going to be, you basically have to have a guide in order to get these tags. So it's really kind of limiting the amount of opportunity, not only for us as non-residents, but the long-term impact is kind of, it just drives more money into hunting, which is good in a certain sense. Mm-hmm. But when you got people that'll pay $10,000 to go hunt on a ranch that used to be getting money for CRP, and a guy like me wants to go hunt sage grouse, and now they're grooming it and doing other things along, and not that elk and sage grouse are going to be in the same territory, but they're getting money for a higher dollar from, private sector kind of monopolized by the government versus me being a DIY hunter that just wants to go out and get a tag. Mm-hmm. I don't have that opportunity anymore, is kind of how this thing looks like it's going to shake out. So I don't know. I got to do some research here over the next couple of evenings when I get a spare moment, and because that's a scary thing with everything going on today, and kind of the change in tone in politics, and the cancel culture and all of that. It just kind of seems like everybody's infringing on all of the rights that we were given underneath the Constitution, and not to go political or anything here, but with one goes the rest of us, Mm-hmm. So now what kind of opportunities are going to be starting to be limited here in other states that might have seen what happened or could potentially happen in Montana, and start limiting opportunities in other states where, you hunt, and it's, if you're never even going to go out west and hunt.
This is COVID related, this bill, or?
Well, it's just, they're the one of the arguments behind it from the outfitters is that they're getting cancellations. They want to be able to book further out, and they need the certainty, knowing that they're going to have tags available to plan. And it's like, well, if you're a good outfitter and you're worth your weight, you're booked years in advance anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So to me, it looks a little bit more like a grab than necessarily, because I just don't even see who really, really benefits in the equation except for one particular group, potentially the outfitters, and then the ability for the government to maybe, through demand, raise the price of the tags.
Yeah.
You know, so I just concerns that it's going to trickle down to other states as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, you might not be worried about getting that elk tag, but, you know, you might want to go hunt grouse up in northern Wisconsin, and at some point that might be restricted to a different degree than what it looks like today. And that's just bad long term for what our, you know, outdoor recreating need. We need to get younger people involved, get them off video games, all that crap.
I mean, yeah, that's the problem, is this generation coming up is not we got to conserve what we can right now for the hunting community, because it's the outlook is not good, I would say, for this new generation of hunters. I mean, there's still going to be some. I mean, family, a lot of the time it's family driven. If your family did it growing up, you grew up in it, you know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I came from a family that didn't really hunt, so it was harder for me to get into that, and it still is. I still, you know, don't have, but there's opportunities, you know, through you and your family that I had growing up that I was lucky enough to take part in. But I mean, yeah, it's just
well, and even you've learned too that, I mean, there are places for you to recreate and go hunt.
Yes, there's places all over. It's just,
and you find every time you turn the car off the interstate, you know, you find a piece of public land in this country, and it's a beautiful thing. And you know, just the thought of that going away at the same time that the country's growing with more people, you know, it's kind of pulling us apart to a certain degree, and it just limits. It's exponentially then, and makes it difficult to really look at long term.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's hard to see in the future. Nobody can do it.
Definitely one of the reasons I kind of started this whole thing was to just inspire other people.
Sure.
And you know, go out and utilize those areas and
absolutely
make sure that, you know, the tax dollars and the fence posts, you know, they're there for a reason, because you and I own it, and you know, if we don't use it, they're going to take it away. So, we're getting a little long in the wind. I'm over my, you know, we're still under an hour. So, I mean, that's good, you know, and I'm okay with going on this. We're having a nice conversation. It's good. It's organic. But, you know, we should work down the, you know, a couple items we got left here to talk about. And, you know, we talked a little bit about what's going on this fall. You know, so if you want to kind of get on the bandwagon, you know, I've got a bunch of stuff going on already, you know.
I mean,
I drew a bear tag. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I drew a black bear tag for Zone D for Western Wisconsin. So after all the work I did last year, and, you know, I don't know, four different hunters, and some really big bears that didn't get shot, I'm pretty excited.
I bet.
And then, you know, the addition of, you know, another, I mean, hell, you haven't even been up and seen the expansion of the lease up there.
No.
Yeah, so we went from 80 to 200.
Yep, that's what you said.
Yeah, and that south piece is definitely the bear property.
When is this podcast? When are you going to air it?
You know, this particular podcast is probably going to be a few weeks out from being aired.
Okay.
Just, you know, trying to do the right thing and have enough content to get me to the point where I can create some more content.
So, I guess my reasoning is like, so there was a little bit of a wrench thrown into the situation for this next fall for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Baby?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, man.
We just found out like last week, so that's why I asked when it was paired. So like, I'll let you know, I guess.
I can edit this out if
let's
I
wait.
need to.
Let's wait a few weeks. We're waiting to tell everybody until 12 weeks, but.
Well, you know, maybe Amaazen Outdoors can come out and, you know, be real part of that announcement.
Amaazen Outdoors can help. Hopefully, it's I got a little hunter in there, and
that's so much fun. You know, Mark had a baby. Now little Archer boy's going to be 2 this fall, and it's just so cool to see that next generation come up, and to know, I mean, our family. I know he's going to be a hunter.
Yeah.
And his name's Archer.
Doesn't have a choice.
He doesn't have a choice. But
yeah.
I hope that some of the stuff you learned with our family you can kind of share with your boy.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to get some property, point, and have some land of my own someday.
You're always welcome in mine.
No, I know. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
It was really sunk in.
That kind of threw me for a little.
Yeah, I know it did.
But that's okay. That's okay. We got plenty of time.
I don't think the wife will hear this, right? So we'll be fine.
You got.
It's middle of October.
Oh, that's right when I want to go grouse hunting with you.
I know.
Well, that's all right. I'm probably gonna. We got our normal kind of grouse camp.
Yeah.
And then I'm hoping kind of before that, if we can get some listenership and we can get some things booked for this fall.
Sure.
I'm hoping that to do a kind of a giveaway to some of the listeners here to, hopefully I can get everything rigged up. I got enough accommodations for 2-3 people right now. It's camping. It's going to be camping up north and grouse hunting on, public land. But, so I'm hoping to do like a kind of a 3-day thing, 2-3 nights, depending. I'll probably go up 4.
That'd be cool.
But, have a couple people up. So, if that works around that,
I mean, I'm sure I'll be able to get away for the day trip here and there.
Yeah. We're not going to be that far.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll be harder to get away before or after.
It'll be both.
So I'm thinking because
we might have to do something around opening weekend and have the exact opposite of our last grouse hunting excursion where everything all you can do is hear them because the foliage is all up.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I mean, those kind of things. I can't hold anything against you there, man. I mean, that's exciting. So
yeah, I mean, it is. It's crazy. I never thought I'd be able to even have a kid. So
I
surprised the hell out of me.
I've gotten a few parents to take their kids along on some of the excursions I've taken along over the last couple of years, and I don't know, it's just fun to get young kids that are used to sitting in front of the video game outdoors and actually catching their first fish or seeing some wildlife, and I just caution you, don't put one of those brain rotting boxes in your house while he's young.
I'm not. I mean, I never liked video games. I was one of the outliers growing up. We grew up in the era of Nintendo and Sega, and I don't even know what the hell they got now. Xbox 20, 21 going out. I mean, shit, it's crazy. So I never really liked video games. So
the one that I enjoyed a little bit when the kids were a little younger was Wii.
Wii's fun. It's more interactive, and
the bowling and the tennis. The standard Wii games. I mean,
we did that in college, and it was fun. And I mean, I like Madden here and there. Play a little game or two of football, but
when everything went double joystick, gone. I'm not that coordinated.
That was a long time ago, so
I know,
you really aged yourself there. But
and I'm not that old, but it's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather go out for a hike than sit in front of the TV.
I agree, and it's going to be hard to navigate that with the social media lifestyle of everybody these days. But
so you'll have to come up this fall and tag along, at least to get a little flavor of the bear hunting, because that'll be definitely early on. Yeah. You'll still be able to get away if, but I know a few people who've had babies in the land. The wife usually gets a little uncomfortable weeks ahead of time, and then
tell you right now,
then life changes completely once the baby's there. So the lens you're looking through today is not going to exist anymore. So it's hard for you to say.
No, that's right.
Oh shit! Yeah, so we got the bear hunt. I'm gonna try to run out to Montana and do some sage grouse hunting in September. That opens up like September 1. I'm gonna have to find some little high school kid to run my bear baits while I'm gone. Yeah. But they'll figure that out in the fall. But cool. Yeah, no, you should, I mean that too,
Yeah, that would be a interesting trip. I mean, I've
never done it before, and sharp-tailed grouse opens up too, and so does Hungarian partridge. So it Huns are like the closest thing out that way to quail, and I love that covey rise. So And they've had really, really good bird counts the last two years, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I really want to get down to Kansas. I think that's my goal, at least once with you next year, to see what the talk is all about. You know.
Well, you know, I'm looking
see
at
a cubby rise for myself.
Yep, looking at Kansas, and got some fingers reaching out in Arizona, New Mexico. I want to get on those desert birds. That's another whole new thing for me that I want to do. And I want
to go to Arizona. Take the wife with. Drop her off in Scottsdale and go hunting.
Yeah, come out and find a camper somewhere. That you know, they go to, like, I think their season just closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, that's why I want to go. It's like Kansas goes till the end of January, and usually January is tougher to hunt. You know? It's just access the public or the weehaw stuff that they have out there gets hit.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to Kansas. So, and it's been like the premier destination for the last few years. So you got a lot of people just going there for the first time, like me, the last couple of years. Well, I've been going now quite a few, but yeah. So I'm gonna hit some different states. You know, I'm gonna try to make a list of all the birds I want to get these dogs on one of these days and start checking them off, man. So it's gonna be a busy fall. We'll see how much deer hunt we get in. I know the Florida side of the family's going to want to get that in around bear hunting and everything else. So
yeah,
we'll probably sit in the tree for rut, let the dogs kind of rest between, grouse season and get them going a little bit on pheasants. And
yeah,
I'm sure hoping.
I'm
migrating south next winter.
You are?
I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm if I can get that shed built and I get come in under budget and still have a path forward for some other things there and have a little coin to get a camper and Iris gets a little freer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna load up and I just go spend a month down in New Mexico, Arizona, and camp in the national forest and chase gambles and merms and maybe run down to the desert and do a little scale quail. That's really what I want to do. I mean, if I can get away with it, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And so we'll see.
This is what this is all about, this podcast. I mean, it's really just starting your businesses. Like, it's your dream, right? Essentially. I mean, it's what you've been wanting to do your whole life.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So,
I mean,
going for it. A lot of people don't have the balls to do that.
Well, if I had to choose things, hindsight's always 20/20,
Of course, yeah.
I'm going to say something that my wife's going to, hate. But, if I would have chose things differently, I would currently be a guide today because I met my wife, best thing that ever happened to me. But I chose a path that it really limited me to chase the dream that I wanted to chase. And I kind of had to grow up early, at 23, I'd be a stepfather, and so had to kind of get some kids through college. And
well, the advantage is you're nearing the end of it now, and you're still young. I'm just starting it.
So no, which is kind of why things aligned, and we're just kind of chasing a dream now and trying to set things up so I don't have to worry about retirement.
Yeah,
because I'm doing the things I love every day, and why retire at that point? I'm already in it.
No, I agree.
So that's kind of the goal. We'll see if we get there, but
Yeah.
So I don't know. We should probably wrap things up. I mean, we talked about about everything on the list here. We went over an hour just a touch, and it's nice to sit and bullshit with somebody that I haven't talked to in a while.
Next time I'll be on, you'll probably be broadcasted on Sirius. Fucking big money bags over here.
Yeah, there's a
lot of competition out there, but
there's a big hole that just opened up on the radio, and not that I sway that way all the time, but it's a big voice that passed away recently, and so we'll see where the whole market goes after that. I'm kind of interested to see what AM radio does with itself from 11 a.m. till 2 around, at least here.
Yeah,
because for the last 35 years, somebody dominated that space, and the market has been going away from radio to begin with. So this is going to be a big impact. I think podcasts are here to stay, and I think that this gives some of the shakeup that I think could potentially lead to hopefully a little success down the road.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Disruptions and market disruptions. So so you got house projects to get to, and
the wife is texting me right now, telling me when I'm going to get back because I didn't spend any time with her today.
I got 2 dogs that need my attention and a daughter who probably, as an adult, still can't figure out what she wants to do or eat for dinner. So I've got other things to get to as well. So anyways, thanks a lot, Eric. I appreciate you coming over and recording this podcast for me.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was interesting, that's for sure. It was the first one, like I said, so I'm sure your other ones will gradually get smoother and smoother, but...
Well, I think the conversation, at least today, went pretty fluid, and there are only a couple edit notes. So
yeah, definitely maybe a couple.
Well, this is another episode of Amaazen Outdoors, and thanks for tuning in today, and hopefully you tune in again. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Amaazen Outdoors. Oh yeah, Facebook too. I think it's Amaazen Outdoors too. I don't know. Just starting to get going with that crap. I hate it. I deleted all that stuff a long time ago, and now in order to get this going, I have to. So see me out there on the internet and look us up. It is a way of life. This podcast was brought to you by Amaazen Outdoors. We specialize in putting together memorable experiences in the woods and in the field. Reach out to us at brian@amaazen.com. That's BRIAN at AMAAZEN.com. brian@amaazen.com. Thank you again so much for listening. Keep an eye out for the next episode.